Alright, hello everyone, and now welcome to a game. This is a game between Tho versus Infi. As the name on the map indicates, it is an all-the-random game. So, Tho spawning under the name Eggs, as the blue orc randomly. Meanwhile, Infi randomly the yellow undead. Should be a great game, and as with all the random games, I try to tend to get to that 2-minute mark faster, because we really don't know what's going to happen until that hero pops out. Alright, Ultra of Darkness is going to go ahead and get trained up. You can see that first random hero, a big sign of all that random here, as we are getting grunts, and it looks like we will be getting some headhunters. Alright, let's take a look at what the heroes are. The heroes are going to be an Archmage going up against a Pit Lord. Alright, so Pit Lord first. Pit Lord sells that Scroll of Town Portal and now making its way out. Perhaps going to try and take down some of these units here. Remember though, it is difficult for undead. The water elemental or these enraged elementals don't actually leave corpses. So by not leaving a corpse, Infi is not going to be able to summon up some of those skeletal minions. Meanwhile, Archmage fighting alongside some Grunt and a Peon here to take down this high level 2 Brigand. There's still some other Brigands here as well. The Water Elemental taking quite a bit of damage. Archmage did not pick up a healing salve. Alright, as we're going to see that get taken down there. Gauntlets of Ogre Strength +3. Archmage looks to back away once more as the two heroes are going to first spot each other for the first time. Unit's going to try and engage. We see that it was Cleave, chosen by Infi. No Howl of Terror, not necessarily the best item to go for, or best hero early on, but he did get Claws of Attack +5, which will definitely help. Alright, Acolyte making its way over as well. Not quite sure what the scouting is going on here as we see some damage go down. Last minute hit with that fireball onto that skeletal minion, finishing it off. Now, no tech to tier 2 yet. That does come as a surprise. And let's see, Undead has already teched the tier 2 and now bringing a bunch of ghouls out onto the battlefield. Both sides still exchanging blows, and you can see quite a bit of damage being absorbed by that Pit Lord here, as the units are going to switch quickly, just try and switch around here. We're going to see another skeleton minion get taken out, and that should get closer and closer to level 2. Meanwhile, that Pit Lord trying to get away here. We are getting more Pit Lords, more Headhunters. Voodoo Lounge should be placed down as the Archmage may need a little bit of healing. Meanwhile, well, under all of this, Infi had brought out a large number of ghouls out onto the battlefield, and Infi now also has Claws of Attack, another pair of Claws of Attack. That is going to add up very quickly if the Pit Lord has a way to find to get some heal. We're going to see some damage. There's that Cleave attack once more. No Howl of Terror, no Rain of Fire that we see. A little bit of aggroing. War Golem, however, chasing after the Archmage, as the Archmage didn't want to continue to be chased by that undead army. Alright. As the units make their way through, Archmage making their way across here. We're going to look at that Archmage, and somehow Tho's Archmage only sitting at level 1 after all this time. That Archmage not getting the level 2 early, as typical human players know. If you don't have an early level 2 Archmage, then you're just going to have a lot of problems with mana. Alright, gonna see a little bit of cleave damage there. Gonna try and back away again. Perhaps get a poke onto that Pit Lord to disrupt the healing. No, not gonna do that. Instead, the Archmage now going after the Snare Caster here. A little bit of different attention focus elsewhere as the Archmage does get to level 2. Alright, a little bit of slow damage. There goes an attack from the giant sea turtle. Skeleton minion now looking to back away. Meanwhile, this Pit Lord is really chasing after this Headhunter, and this Headhunter looks like it will get taken down. Alright, so Headhunter chased all the way across the map here. This is a lot of ghouls, but what is Infi doing? A lot of these ghouls were not actually collecting lumber. They're trying to figure out where exactly to go. And we're going to see Infi perhaps now go into that slaughterhouse, go into tier 3. Hasn't trained up a second hero yet as both sides are fighting. Alright, there was the use of the sacrificial skull on the far side of the map to give a little bit of blight for the Pit Lord. So the Pit Lord is just creeping out creep camps using skeletal minions, while there's a lot of ghouls back at home to try and provide a large amount of lumber. Alright, Ziggurat nearly done. I'm assuming tech to tier 3. Go for Ghoul Frenzy as well. We're going to be looking at some more damage go down. Archmage. Well, Archmage is still only sitting at level 2 after all this time. Kobold Taskmaster going to get cleaned up there. Scroll of the Beast now picked up. Level 3 for the Archmage. And with that, level 2 Water Elementals. This is a very, well, rangy army. Tome of Intelligence, that's going to get easily picked back up. Nope. Yeah, now going to get picked up and see where these units are off to next. Meanwhile, Pit Lord sitting at level 2 looking to try and finish things off. There's going to be a little bit of cleave damage. Who's going to get the experience? Pit Lord gets the experience, gets up to level 3. A little bit of focus fire now. We're going to see the Dark Ritual there, and Book of the Dead quickly used by Infi, and that's going to cause a lot of traffic here. That's a lot more units out here on the battlefield as the Pit Lord is now down to 138 hit points, and we're still looking at more damage here. Alright, Skeletal Minions trying to focus down onto those lower hit point of Headhunters as those Skeletal Archers are getting in some of those attacks as well. Alright, this, well, Headhunter trying to retreat all the way back. Blood Mage as the second hero from Tho, so, so second hero from Tho, Blood Mage, Archmage combination leading an Orc army here as we are now teching to tier 3 as well. Let's take a look at Naga Sea Witch and Pit Lord looking to fight next to each other. Those cold arrows, however, could cause problems, especially if that Grunt needs to run by in front of that Black Citadel. Alright, was experience given? No. Last hit by the 13 to 15 damage Black Citadel, denying that Naga Sea Witch any experience. Pit Lord has Howl of Terror, has Cleave, but the Claws of Attack were given to the Naga Sea Witch for that ranged cold arrow, perhaps, to prevent any retreat back out. Alright, Naga Sea Witch not using the cold arrow. Nope, is using the cold arrow. Need to finish off this one Water Elemental down to 138 hit points. And well, just getting kind of stuck up on everything. Is experience going to be given? Yes, it is. So Naga Sea Witch finally on the board. Meanwhile, a Siege Golem now out here on the battlefield. We're looking at Headhunters. Ooh, a Heretic getting in at that Carrion Swarm there. We're looking at the War Golem just trying to wander around. It looks like he's not quite sure who to attack. And we're seeing a lot of that Heretic just waves of damage. That's going to add up pretty quickly against all of these very low hit point Headhunters if you're not careful. The Water Elementals are going to easily get taken down. There's some more Siphon Mana. Archmage needs to summon up another Water Elemental to perhaps tank a little bit more damage again. 41 supply compared to 42, as Undead is also clearing out, well, this Bandit Lord Creep Camp. Bandit Lord Creep Camp does use a Divine Shield, does make it very difficult to try and clear out that Creep Camp here as you're going after the rest of those units. Siege Golem about to get taken down, Blood Mage already at 2, and Archmage does pick up Endurance Aura. Alright, still a little bit of a unorthodox game. This Bandit Lord about to get taken down. Sobi Mask going to be dropped, perhaps given to the Naga Sea Witch. Yeah, and Naga Sea Witch does have a Fork Lightning, so has plenty of reasons to use all of that mana, as we're going to be looking at an engagement here. There goes the Headhunter, level 4 now on the Archmage. That will be level 2 Brilliance Aura most likely, as the Berserkers are now upgraded. Now, what are we going to see here? A third and final hero, and Troll Witch Doctors. So, Tho really going for this, a trolling army, going to try to go for Witch Doctors, go for Berserkers, and use that regeneration to, well, heal up a lot of damage. Meanwhile, back on the other side here, there's that Troll Witch Doctor. He's trying to place down Watcher Wards all over the map, keep track of the tempo of this game. A couple of Skeletal Warriors off on the side here. 50 supply compared to 48. So, well, needs to get more Witch Doctors if he wants to actually have access to that healing, or if he's just trying to go for Stasis Trap. Oh, this is something I never considered before, though. The Witch Doctor actually going to benefit from this Brilliance Aura a lot more than a lot more. Remember, well, and a tiny Great Hall being placed down. Remember, normally Orc players do not have access to be able to get more mana. So those Witch Doctors, after one or two spells, they're usually like out for the count for quite some time. That extra mana is going to be a very big deal, as we now see, well, a bit of a problem. Destroyers going to absorb mana, and now they're going to be able to go after those Orc burrows quickly. But no, instead you're going to be going after the fight here. All right, fighting next to the Creep camp. Howl of Terror, this is a problem. The Enraged Elemental trying to engage here, and Infi, well, catching quite the opportunity here. Are we going to see some more damage go down? Yeah, Blade Master does not have the ability to shoot up. Those Destroyers are pretty much going to go unchallenged as we're looking at some damage. Blade Master really not all that scary right now, as he's going to be forced to back up again. All right, Mirror Image. However, the Mirror Images are just going to get devoured here, and now, oh, the Destroyers could also devour all of that Howl of Terror and then be able to put back forth that damage. This is just a nasty 1-2 combination if you do not remember from years and years ago. Blade Master trying to finish off some more units. Blood Mage gets up to level 3. Well, but more units need to find a way to siphon mana away from that Pit Lord. No banish on that from the Blood Mage for some reason, as we see a Scroll of Town Portal for a tactical retreat. 41 supply compared to 47. The Destroyers really dealing quite a bit of damage, trying to head back home. Witch Doctors, I don't believe we are at mastery training yet, so healing is going to be difficult as the Blood Mage uses a healing salve now. All right, there's those repairs. Still no reinforced defenses. Those Destroyers are going to really go to town on those Orc Burrows, cause problems as the Berserkers now make their way back over again. Witch Doctors do have mastery training, so healing could become incredibly important. Archmage trying to, well, run back after again. And how is this all going to go down? Archmage trying to retreat here. There's a little bit of siphon mana, taking some of that precious mana from that Pit Lord. But the Pit Lord, well, doesn't need Howl of Terror all that much. We're looking at the Ghouls, going to easily take down the Great Hall. We do not see spiked barricades either. Having spiked barricades would, well, really slow down this Orc aggression here. As, are we going to get the Blade Master back? No, Blade Master not worth saving apparently, or training back up. We're going to see a giant sea turtle get taken down and all these other units. Yeah. A level 1 hero that cost 5 supply, not really worth it. Perhaps having 2 Berserkers could be better at this stage in the game. Hey, PJ. Now, we do see an expansion here on the southern side by Infi. So Infi has taken the economic lead. He has a supply lead, and well, he has an art, and he also has hero lead here. Nearly level 5, nearly level 4, going up against level 4, level 3. Healing Ward placed down across on the side here to try and get a little bit of poke healing, but well, that's not going to stay alive at all. Quick banish onto the Pit Lord. Pit Lord able to stay alive here. Berserker trying to poke things down. Perhaps going to find a Ghoul or 2 to finish off. There's some more healing again as the Berserkers are now trying to retreat back here. There's a Healing Ward placed down the Destroyer. Going to devour, no, does not devour magic. Level 4 now onto that Naga Sea Witch as we're still poking back the other way. 61 supply compared to 48. And Infi says, you know what? I don't need to stick around in this fight as long as I have this economic advantage back at home. All right, getting quite a bit more gold. 61 supply compared to 50. Blood Mage trying to chase. We are looking at the Witch Doctors, who do have decent mana regeneration, once again thanks to the Archmage here. But does the Archmage have enough? A big question also is that Scroll of the Beast, can it even really be useful because of all of the Destroyers in the air? All right, what's going to go down here? Endurance Aura, Archmage, well, needs a little bit of time. Army going to come back side the other way, and we're going to see another potential Creepjack. All right, Pit Lord coming across here. That's going to be some easy damage. Units need to try and retreat back here. Are we going to see some damage go down? There's a round of attacks here. And still the Berserkers are not really going into that Berserker form. Ankh of Reincarnation picked up by the Pit Lord. And wow, talk about just not being able to have things go your way. Infi picks up the beautiful Ankh of Reincarnation, where he's going to see some healing warded down now. Quick devour magic. Another healing ward placed down to try and keep all of these Berserkers alive. And well, the army of Tho is actually really refreshed compared to all of the Destroyers here. The Destroyers need to get a lot of healing going. They're also taking some of the mana away from the Obsidian statues, because Essence of Mana is turned on, but the Destroyers are not maintaining that mana at all. Negative mana regeneration, always difficult. Are we going to see a tiny Great Hall placed down again? It does not look like it. Well, are we? Nope, not yet. All right. 50 supply compared to 65 here. And now Infi is just trying to keep his opponent's economy at bay. We're going to be looking at, well, 5 minutes of mining left in the main gold mines. Naga Sea Witch not trying to make their way over. We're going to see a big howl of terror, and then we're going to see some damage go down. Fork Lightning. There goes one Berserker already. Banish on the Pit Lord. Pit Lord not able to do very much, trying to slice and dice his way through. All of these peons are actually just getting surrounded as we're looking at more pressure. Healing Ward is placed down here. Damage is coming across, but the Healing Ward easily taken down again just because of all this Devour Magic and Focus Fire. Pit Lord once again out of the battle here. Archmage able to retreat back, trying to re-engage once more, but level 5, level 4, too much for level 4, level 3 to overcome. Infi comes away with the victory. Let me know what you guys thought about this all the random game.